Hello and welcome to investigating the effects of corrugations on the speed of sound in an open-ended tube. This project started a couple years ago when Dr. Ruiz was working on some irrigation for his house, and he dropped a corrugated pipe, and it made a sound that was a few tones lower than he was expecting. He did some calculations and some testing and was able to form a model for that attenuation of sound. That model shown here. Using the dimensions of the corrugations, you can calculate the expected attenuation. We also were able to form two more models, one being the periodic square model and the periodic cosine square model, both based on block theory. And we wanted to test these theories and see how accurately they could be measured experimentally. So we needed a good method of which to do so. So we invented this time-of-flight method, utilizing a cage here to hold the tube and a stepper motor to use this linear positioning table to maneuver a microphone down the body of a tube towards a stationary speaker. Now, when you move the microphone down specific increments of distance, you can calculate from the delta D and measure the delta T here using this oscilloscope. And you can use the differences in the delta T's and the differences in the delta D's in order to find the speed of sound through the tube without worrying about the actual length of the tube, so you can do this with just about any tube accurately. We proved that when we did our straight tube results. We used several straight tubes of heavily varying lengths. And in each, this here is the graph. This is normalized to temperature. So even though each day was varied temperature, we did normalize through that. And we were able to find the data through each of the tubes to be within 1% of the actual speed of sound normalized to temperature, which is excellent. That means that this is an accurate, repeatable, and good method to determine the speed of sound. Moving from that, after we saw that this was successful, we moved on and we started working on corrugated tubes. Now, our corrugated tubes, we used a couple here of different sizes. So tube A prime, and tube B were our tubes. Now, tube A and tube A prime were both cut from the same tube, so they have the same dimensions except for length. Now, their different length shouldn't be a problem. As you can see in the Ruiz theorem here, there's no length involved. But if you take a look at our experimental results, you can see that the Ruiz theory matches just about great with tube A, and then tube A prime, which is shorter by about 17 centimeters. It does not move because it's not related to length, but the drop was more. So we did experimentally see a larger drop. But the other two models do drop. They don't drop quite as much as you'd expect to match this, but they do drop, and so they are showing a trend in the correct direction. Moving from that, we do plan on moving on to better methods, including, instead of a manual analysis using a digital oscilloscope, we're going to use LabVIEW to calculate the stuff for us, as that we set this to move in a consistent motion and this in a consistent sound, and take data much faster, make this a lot easier. We think that's going to be a better way. And another thing we're planning on doing is 3D printing some tubes with specific corrugations of different dimensions, specifically modulating the H right here, so we can get higher things here to see how much that impacts it, to see if we can get some more breakdown of this actual analysis. It's really exciting, doing a lot of stuff with it. Pretty cool, pretty good data, excellent data. And that's all for this. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great night.